welcome to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is The Wise Ones. And joining me as always is my friend. He's also a co-host. He is on our expert team of talking heads, and he is an elevated listener. Let's welcome Mr. Red O'Laughlin. Hi, Red.
Hey, Dr. Jacalyn.
You forgot my name. No.
Yeah, I told you I have a little problem with my throat, but anyway, it's coming along.
Well, we're good enough friends that it doesn't matter. So it's nice to have you here today. And I just love the fact that we've got a special guest. She's been on the platform before, and she's so definitely no stranger to social media and the power behind it, and also how you can actually utilize it for your business to get new clients, to grow market share, etc.
She is an outstanding individual, just a wonderful person in general, and from a business perspective, sharp as a tack.
I love that. Tell us how you met AIMEE before we bring her out.
AIMEE came into my life as part of another mastermind group, and in the process of learning how to deal with promoting, marketing, not advertising so much, but basically networking to get my book sold, to get myself out there, and coincidentally to become a #1 best-selling author. AIMEE kind of entered the picture, and about the same time, the other lady was kind of transitioning, and AIMEE kind of became CEO of both organizations, the one that she had and the other one. And I can't tell you, I have a brain delusion right now. I can't remember the lady's name, but I'm sure AIMEE's going to tell us here in just a minute. And I can see her face. I just can't think of her name. Regardless. Anyway, so AIMEE came in, took over, and it's just been gangbusters ever since. And that's how I know her. I've run into her at a few events. And so we see each other every Monday night, every Wednesday morning. So it's not like we are not much around, but we actually spend a lot of time together. And when I have anything at all, I pick up the phone and she's there and answers my questions, boom, just like that.
That's fantastic. And as you know, I have a second book coming out because you and I are working together on it. We also worked on the first book, and I'm excited to be working with AIMEE on this second book so I can become a #1 best-selling author again, and looking forward to hearing the tips that she has. So let's welcome her to the show.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, AIMEE. Nice to see you.
It's so good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you back. And I just wanted to bring up something that Red said before the show started. Red, do you want to explain a little bit the title of the show, The Wise Ones, and you thought AIMEE would be a great fit, which she is. So share a little bit more.
When we typically hear the term wise, we think of somebody a little bit older in life, maybe a little bit younger than me, but still, you're thinking of more seasoned people because they've been around the business for years. They've had a chance to make a few mistakes and make a lot of success from those mistakes. But here we have AIMEE, a young mother of 2, and her Valentine's Day photo of her kids was just one of the best I've ever seen. But she's a young woman, and yet she has an amazing amount of experience in a couple of niche areas that we need, us older people, because we are out there, we're entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, you probably ought to have AIMEE's contact information, because she works well not only for authors and trying to get them #1 best-selling authors, and she has an amazing record of doing that, almost 100%, not quite, but just about 100%. But more importantly, she has so much knowledge in social media that applies across the board to almost any business, regardless. Now, she does specialize in authors, but she also does help small businesses. But if you're an entrepreneur and you need help, particularly in social media, AIMEE is the go-to person. You really need to know.
Go, AIMEE. Go, AIMEE.
I know. Thank you, Red. I don't even know how to follow that up. Thank you.
AIMEE, I think what Red said is so important. I'm a small business owner. There's so many of us out there, and social media is like that big giant that we can't seem to get our arms around. So can you share some background information? How did this become a passion for you? And what are some of the things that you're finding that business owners are really not aware of that they need to know?
Yeah, so I've actually been doing it for over 10 years now. And I kind of first got into it where I was still in college. I was working a job, going to school, and I met Sandy Lawrence. And I kind of did social media through her company, Perceptive Public Relations, which is who Red kind of mentioned earlier. And I just started doing social media management and really kind of geared into marketing. I have a degree in research psychology, a minor in graphic design. And so I really just wanted to express my creative side in creating graphics and posts and everything like that. And her company was doing small businesses, real estate, and authors. And so I really got a well-versed or world-rounded, I guess. Words are hard this morning, but world-rounded kind of experience in those different avenues. And it really just became, social media started off as a wonderful place to connect and build relationships and communicate with people that aren't in the same house as you, the same city as you, and you can kind of broaden and network that way and grow things. And so that being just such a beautiful thing really kind of had me want to dive into it more and do more on the whole marketing side and stuff. So that was 10 years ago. And then I started Abundantly Social about, I want to say 5 years ago. And so I've kind of run with that. And then, in 2021, Sandy Lawrence retired from Perceptive Public Relations, and she wanted to leave her company to me. So I went ahead and merged that with Abundantly Social. And that's where we're at today. I've researched and I have a strong passion for authors, and I want to help them be successful on social media and, making them Amazon bestsellers. And so it's all kind of just evolved from when I was 20 to where I am now. So it's just been a fun ride and a fun passion of mine and a habit. So.
Well, we're glad that you're out there helping authors like me and others, because we covet that number one status.
Yes, absolutely. It's like bragging rights, right? And it's something you should be proud of, because all authors, you really do put your heart and soul into every book. And so by doing that, you're kind of taking a leap of faith that people are going to like it. And so why not aim for that bestseller and be a number one? You spend all this hard work and time and money and effort and passion into it. So yes, everyone deserves that. So I'm just thankful and very grateful I get to be a part of that process for so many.
One of the things that she's also part of a process is, I believe you have 5 podcasts you do per week. Is that right?
I do. Yes, I have a lot. I don't know how I have wound up being on so many. So I have one that I've been doing for about 5 years that really just talks with authors, and that's Author Talk. That's on Mondays. I'm in the morning. And then, I had some clients that really wanted to start a podcast, but they were nervous to do it on their own. And I am not camera shy by any means. So I was like, sure, yeah, I'll help you jumpstart it. Well, then I got asked to be on them. So I'm currently on 5. They're not all having to deal with authors. A lot of them are technology or different events that you can go to promote your book or your business and, realms like that. But yeah, somehow I've become this podcasting person. So it's exciting. I've fit it all into my schedule, but it's exciting that, people wanted to start it and they, came to me to kind of help them, where they weren't camera shy or vocally shy or anything like that. So that was it's the biggest compliment I probably have ever received. So I'm very grateful.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
She also runs a mastermind membership unit, and that's the one that she leads, but she has some of the most interesting people come in to help us understand other sides of business, whether it be audiobooks or publishing or the act of, what do you call it, stacking your promo stacks.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of things that we as entrepreneurs, as authors, as small business people don't understand. And she has that ability to find those people and to have them come in and help us. And so that's another plus that I have for AIMEE, is the fact that she knows so many people, or she knows how to get in touch with so many people. And it's just a constant delight to learn. I was just almost speechless about how much I can learn. But one of the things that you will never believe about AIMEE is the fact that she dresses up for Comic-Cons and things like that.
I do. Yes. I know it's hard to believe, but I do. Yes. I've dressed up as Captain Marvel. And last year I was Gwen, the Spider-Gwen Venom kind of combined. And, this year I was thinking about doing a family affair. My husband hasn't dived into the Comic-Con scene with me yet. I'm still working on that, but, I wanted to do like a whole Power Ranger kind of theme, so it's fun to kind of get out there and be someone different, for a day. I don't have to market or do anything like that. And so those are just fun stress relievers. I meet some amazing people and some amazing small businesses, that somehow I figure out a way to incorporate them into what I'm doing, like a book box or something like that, to help. I mean, I'm a huge advocate for helping small businesses and stuff. And those are great ways to meet them. And I get to not be myself for a day. So it makes it a lot of fun.
I attended one event and she showed up in costume, and it was the first time I've been to one of these. It wasn't exactly a Comic-Con, but it was a con of some sort. And it was interesting because a lot of people were dressed up and they were playing the character, and it was kind of neat just wandering around, following people, chatting with them. And then AIMEE shows up, and my God, she's in a outfit there, and just it was interesting.
Yeah.
And,
you wouldn't expect it, when you see me on Monday nights and I look like this, or, I don't have any makeup on, because there's some nights, I'm just doing good to remember it's Monday night, And so when you go from that and you see me dressed up as like Captain Marvel or something, you're like, is this the same person? Yes, it is. I promise. The same person, same personality. I promise.
Well, I was thinking that with everything that you've accomplished and you're doing and being a young mother, I'm just in awe. You look so beautiful and rested. Doesn't she look so well rested?
Makeup does wonders. Okay. Makeup does wonders for me, because I don't know. I don't get a whole lot of sleep, to be honest. I have a 2 and a 1-year-old. My husband's watching them right now. So, I don't get a whole lot of sleep, but I get a lot of stuff done either in the middle of the night or they're napping or something, so makeup is my best friend for my dark circles. So yeah.
Well, you look great.
Thank you.
you also have another thing that you do called Book Lovers Delight. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
I do. Yes. I have so many things, right? So many things. So I last year decided I got this wild hair and I wanted to really help small press and indie published authors get more readers and just get out there with their audience. It's so hard to do that unless you're a celebrity or whatever, something like that. And so I started a book subscription box called Book Lovers Delight, and it's all indie or small press authors. And it's anything from sci-fi, fantasy, all the way up to adult romance, any kind of realm that you could think of. And, you get the book and goodies that the author wants to put in there. We put some goodies in there, but it's our way of kind of helping and giving back to indie and small press authors, because it's so hard to just get in book box unless you are, in the top 5 publishers or a New York Times bestseller or whatever. And so, this is our way of helping them get exposure. So I teamed up with some different publishers, and I've reached out to just authors. I honestly am on Amazon all the time, and I just go through books and look at their publisher and see how their publisher is, or if they did it themselves. And so I kind of just go from there and start the realm that way, honestly. So it's our way of giving back. I try everything I can to give back to them. I'm a huge advocate for indie and small press authors. So, yeah.
Love that. Fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a wild hair I got. It just happened. I was like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna start it now. So yeah, it's been an interesting, fun ride.
Abundantly Social is your company. How did that name come about?
Oh, okay. So I sat on a bunch of names. Like I was thinking Social Butterfly, because my mother always called me that when I was younger, and it was, social media marketing. I was like, oh, this is the perfect name. And it was taken. And so then I was just like, I started asking my husband, I was like, what is, words to describe like my personality? Because my personality can be a lot. It's very vibrant, energetic, and just a lot. And so he was just like, I don't know, abundant or vibrant. And I was like, well, vibrant social doesn't really go. I was like, but abundantly. Oh my gosh. Yes. Because we are abundantly online, talking socially, doing all these things. Right. And we're doing a bunch of different things at one time. And so it took me like 6 months to come up with the word abundantly. So when I got it and it was available, I snagged it. I bought every avenue of it. I was like, this is mine. And, that's when things really came real for me, because I had jumped around creating Abundantly Social for like a year and a half before I really did it. So it was kind of the foundation, but no, it took me 6 months to get it. And it was just asking a bunch of people and brainstorming and sitting around for hours looking at a wall trying to be like, what would be great here? It was a lengthy process, but it just kind of happened.
Amy, I think it's so interesting. You really bring to light that when you have a business, you're starting a business, you might have been established for a long time. Things take time, right? It's like just to come up with a name takes time, to come up with the right website. And social media is so important. I know we talked about this a little before in the other show, but I think it really bears repeating. As a business owner, some people shy away. I can think of friends I have right now that are not on social media. They have all the reasons why they're not. What are they missing out on by not having a presence on social media?
So for not having a presence on social media, you're really missing out on another way of getting SEO and people to see your website or just see what you're about and your personality, right? So Abundantly Social, there's so many other avenues you can go with, buy my book, invest in my business, do this. It's all these business avenues, sell, right? And the reality of social media is you are missing out on networking and making relationships with people that are in different cities or countries that can really benefit you or your business, or know someone that can, and building their relationships and kind of letting the personality and the passion that you have behind your business or your book or real estate, whatever avenue you're in, by letting that kind of showcase. Because when people go to search for things, yeah, we go to Google, but if I'm on like Facebook, I'm going to go to the search bar and I'm going to type in website design, and I'm going to see every single person that has used that hashtag. And that's how I'm going to find businesses, because then I'm going to go from there to their website to Google to see the reviews and research it. And so social media is just honestly becoming another search platform for businesses and different avenues for you to go down. But the networking and the building relationships with other businesses is much easier on social media, because I don't know about you, but I don't want to buy a plane ticket to go to every city to go to a networking event to make friends. I can just do that online and join different groups and market that way and be like, hey, does anybody have experience in this? Like, I'm really struggling, and all the feedback and everything that I get they're so helpful. And that's not something that I could get just in my city, so it's something that you have to be willing to put yourself out there. And by not willing to do that, then you're kind of hindering the growth of your business and your network relationships and just success, in a sense. Like, you're just content with where you are. You should always want to be growing and getting better at your craft or your business. And there's an easy way to do it, which is social media and just engaging with one another. And so it just depends on how big you want to grow and what you're willing to do. So
thank you, Amy. I just have a follow-up question, Red. My follow-up question is, as a business owner, is it true that I was told this recently, you need to post 3 times, the same post 3 times a day for 7 days before the algorithms get it to all of your base? Is that true?
The same post 3 times a day for 7 days a week? No, I never recommend that, because the other way that you can get into an algorithm is by having people engage and comment on your post. And so I always recommend, I only do it 5 days a week, because I'm a firm believer in, having separation from your business. So I don't post on the weekends unless it's like family things or other kind of avenues. But as far as business, you always have to go back to your basics, which is the 80-20 rule. And 80% is building relationships, letting your audience know who you are and the passion that you have. And 20% is sales and marketing. And if you can get people to engage and kind of see you for your personality and the passion that you have, then selling to them is easy because they feel like they have the relationship with you. They want to invest in you and give back and support you and share. And so they're going to comment and they're going to engage and they're going to share it out to people that you don't even have access to. But if you constantly are posting the exact same post for an entire week, every day, multiple times a day, people are going to get annoyed by that because it's like, okay, it's just the same thing. Or if it's like a sales post, it's like, okay, you just want my money. You just want this. And it's like, no, the whole point of social media and social media marketing is to build a relationship with your audience and your followers and get them to engage and kind of build that trust and relationship, trust for a lack of a better word. But you want to have this friendship with those followers. And yeah, you need to be active on it because if you go, dormant for a month, yeah, they're going to be gone. You got to build it back up. But in the same post, people don't want to see that. They want to see different things. They want to feel like they're kind of involved in your life. Like, don't be an open door. Like, I'm an open door, but that's different. But don't be an open door and share like 500 times a day, every little thing. I'm eating this meal, and then I'm eating this meal. You want to kind of let them in on the journey with you. So if you're an author, you want to let them in on the writing process of your next book. Like, oh, I hit a roadblock, I got writer's block. So I've decided that I'm going to go walk this trail, and kind of let them in on the journey. Even if it's a business, people want to be on that journey with you, and they're more likely to invest in things with you, engage with your posts, share it out to people that they think it would be a good fit for. So I never recommend doing the same post 3 times, 7 days a week. I've never heard of that. And it'd be interesting to see the success that you have with that if you decide to go that route.
Thank you. You just saved me a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm a huge fan for third-party schedulers and scheduling out posts because social media can get bogged down, especially if you're trying to do TikTok and do all these videos and then Instagram reels and posts and engage and do the comments, right? I mean, you're looking at like 6 hours a day, and I don't know who has 6 hours a day. So spend, a couple hours and schedule everything out for the month. And then when you have, you're being spontaneous or whatever, do a video or something like that, but you don't have to be on it all the time. That's the mistake that so many people make when they don't get on social media, right? Is it's so overwhelming and it's like, I have to be on it all the time and engaging, and my whole life I'm just on my phone. It's like, no, you really don't have to be. Like, there's all these different resources for you to cut back on the time and the overwhelm, and there's articles, but I'm a huge advocate for going back to the basics because there's so much noise out there and different things that you can try that are trendy and all these things, but you have to do what's best for you and what your audience wants to see from you. So it's always start with your basics and get those down. And then, fling the spaghetti on the wall and see if it fits. Like, I'm a huge advocate for that. But, you have to kind of get comfortable with the 80-20 and understand that you don't have to do sales posts all the time. That's not what people want. Social media is meant to be social, and they want to feel like they have a relationship with you and you're invested, right? And that's what people want to feel like. The biggest thing that I get is we do scripted responses for our clients, and we send out birthday greetings and, hey, you have a work anniversary on LinkedIn. They love that. Everybody loves that. And it's kind of one of those like minute things, right? You think that it's not this big of a deal. People don't really care. People love it. I've had so many people thank me for it. And then they reach out and they're like, hey, I would love to just have a conversation with you. I see that you do all these things. You always tell me happy birthday and stuff. Like, I want to just get to know you. And that really is how social media started. It's what it was supposed to be about. So always start with your basics and then slowly branch out is always my recommendation.
You mentioned,
that's really good. Thank you.
Yeah.
You mentioned videos a minute ago. How do you see, I know sort of the answer to this question, but I want you to kind of elaborate. Videos seem to be taking a higher presence. You mentioned Instagram, TikTok. I know you do a lot YouTube. Why don't you talk about videos for a short bit here?
Yeah, absolutely. So videos aren't going away, and you can always, or you can only, I guess I should say, you can only get so much emotion and stuff from a designed post, right? But if you have a video like what we're doing now, or like how all my podcasts are, you really get a sense of the person's personality. and who they are as a person, right? And it's kind of one of those things where they become relatable. They're no longer like an idol that you put on a shelf, right? They're a person. Here's what's really going on. They have relatable things. And that helps kind of bridge the gap between posting images and things and them hearing you talk, right? Like Red is a huge witness to this, but when I have my podcast going and stuff, they all have video. And, some days if my husband's not home to help me with the kids, my daughters will randomly come in and it's just like, oh, okay, hold on, let me get her out, and it becomes relatable to people because they're like, okay, so it's not just perfect all the time, right? And that's what people want to see and people want to experience. And they're going to have more kind of invested in you in a sense, I guess I would say, because you're no longer being idolized. You're just becoming their friend and they feel like they get to know you. And so by doing video, you're kind of opening that door and taking down the shield, right? And having the wall up and things like that. But video isn't going away. It's only becoming more and more popular. And so it's kind of like, you don't have to do live videos. If you want to do them recorded, that's all good. Live is just easier for me because it's, I don't have to edit and do all those things. Whatever happens. But people want to hear from you. I can't just call you guys up on the phone. I mean, I could call Red, right? But it's different hearing him give me the answer than just reading it in an email that has no emotion. And a graphic's kind of the same way. Even if it's a GIF and it's moving, it doesn't really have the emotion and the passion behind it when you hear someone talk on a video or an interview or anything like that. So I'm a huge advocate for videos. Red, you know that. Jump right in. Yes. Dive in. The water's nice. I promise.
Now, one of the things that I think is a misconception is that people on a video expect to see a person, but a video can easily be with the background voice of that person. It could be something. There's a lot of options that doesn't have to be that person's face in front of the screen.
Right.
And I think that people, well, I don't like videos because I'm not good on it. That's not always the requirement for a video.
Right. You can do book trailers, which I mean is just like a movie trailer. And I've seen some amazing ones that I'm like, man, is this a movie? And it's a book. And I'll go buy the book. You can get creative with it, and you can even have, someone else kind of do the whole like graphic and you just voice it over, or you read a chapter from your book and you just have it looking down at your pages. That's fine too. But letting them kind of hear a voice and get the relatable feeling and bring your personality kind of to light is what is more important, because people buy whatever avenue you're in. People buy from people they feel like they know or they have a relationship with and they trust. And it's the same for authors. If I go and I research this author and they have 150 reviews on Amazon and they're all 5 stars. Okay, well, that's amazing. Let me go check their bio, right? So then I read their bio and I'm like, oh, they love dogs. So do I. Okay, we have something in common. So then I'll go to their website, right? And then it's like, oh, I think this is worth it. I've never heard of this author, but we have so much in common. I kind of like the things that they stand for. I've read a lot of their reviews. I'm going to go buy their book, right? And it's all because they had relatable points, and that's what people want to see. And that's, it just feeds back into going back to the, the basics and just being real with people. And that's really what social media is about, at least on my end, I guess, because I'm an open book. But, it's one of those things. So it's just, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And you don't have to put makeup on. I mean, I have a show that I'm lucky if I, remember what day of the week it is, but it's kind of one of those. I have seen, people that are really camera shy, and they've done that. They've had their book on their desk. They have their camera holding it over. They're doing a Facebook Live and they're just reading, and it may or may not be their book. And then they give a review and they've never shown their face or anything. So yeah, I mean, you can get creative with it if you're, you don't want to show your face or do anything like that, or, just ask me to be on. I will make it less awkward. I promise. I will. I'm very good at keeping, dead airspace away and making you laugh. Like that's my strong suit. So
so many fantastic points that you're sharing here. And I love the idea of doing a video trailer for the book. I'm going to be doing that. I can go over to iMovie and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's one of the latest things. I've had a client that started doing it a couple years ago, but it's just become more and more popular. And I mean, I'm telling you, some of them that I have seen, I'm like, is this a movie? Like, when's the date? And it's a book. I mean, it's fabulous. I recommend it. Yes.
You mentioned keep it to the basics. The
Yes.
basics can be a lot of different things. As you said, making sure their anniversaries get recognized, sharing stuff about things that are important to people. Uh, One of the things I do is original content, and you have to kind of splice that in with everything else because content is appropriate in a lot of places. But if you're just starting and you're trying to get going, what do you recommend for that person, whether that be an entrepreneur, a small business person, or an author, and they're trying to get their presence out there? What kinds of things do you recommend and the basics for that person to really consider and say, I need to be consistent in at least these 2 or 3 areas so I can establish my social presence?
Yeah, I mean, you really nailed it. It's being consistent, right? And that doesn't mean you have to post every day for seven days. You can post once a week and to start off with, right? Or if you're more comfortable, do 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the days that your post goes out, they're going to go out at, let's just say 9 in the morning and you schedule them to go out. And have it where one of the posts, is mentioning, your latest book that's come out, right? And then the other 2 are just maybe the experience that you had publishing that book. And another one is just, a flashback Friday to, the moment that you opened your author copy of your book, something like that. It ties it into your book and that you are a writer, but it's not, hey, go buy my book, right? It's just like you sharing your passion and your love for your book. And, going back to the basics is doing that. And it's just being consistent. And that's the hardest thing that I hear everybody have an issue with is being consistent. And it's hard for me. I mean, I manage over 20 accounts. And so by the time I get to my own, I'm just like, I'm tired, right? But being consistent where schedulers come in is really the basic that you have to get a grab on. Because if you only post 3 times a week for a month and then the next month you don't post at all, well, then you're not going to gain any traction because it takes 3, 6, 8 months to kind of really gain traction because you're in a weird way, you're training your audience what to expect from you, the days that you're going to post, what kind of content you're going to be posting, what things you could be up to, right? You're training them so they get used to seeing those and it becomes a habit and they look forward to seeing those. Whereas if you're inconsistent with it, then they're not going to know what you're posting, really what's going on. They're less likely to keep following you and to engage with you. So, I mean, the number one basic is be consistent. The second one is when people comment, to engage with them because they're commenting for an engagement, whether they like a post or whatever, you can thank them for liking it or anything, but just be engaging with them. That's just one of the things, be social with them, right? But I mean, being consistent, being social, but the biggest compliment that we get that's just a basic thing that not everybody does is sending out the happy birthdays and thanking them for liking your page and their work anniversaries on LinkedIn or inviting them to like this page because you think it'd be a good fit for them. Doing things like that is what kind of separates you from everybody else, and it kind of separates you from this noise, right? Social media is such an oversaturated market right now, and you have everything, and it's a big play kind of market. If you're going to run ads, you have to spend a lot of money, all these things, and you don't have to do that. You can take that out and separate yourself by doing these things and just being real with your clients and engaging with them, right? And that's kind of what needs to happen, I think.
I love this. I'm making mental notes of all of it. AIMEE, a question I have, you just mentioned something about this. Let's say we have a post that gets a lot of comments, right?
Right.
Is it appropriate to go to each person who commented and write the same comment? Hey, thank you for liking this. Or do we have to be creative and come up with
No, because honestly, it's going to be someone like me, right? That's going to be like, hey, thanks. You're so awesome. Like I may be like, oh, thanks for this awesome comment. You're so amazing. And then the next one, I may like, oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. But it's kind of the same, and I'll change a word or two, right? Because if you're posting in like groups and stuff, you don't want to get your hand slapped. You kind of got to change it 10 to 20%, But generally, that's kind of what you want to do. And it's okay if it's the same, right? Because they're not going to be like, oh, you just went in and just Command C or Control C and just like pasted it a whole lot, right? It's not like that. People are just going to be grateful that you responded, because so many people don't. And that's the issue that I, come across. Even if I'm commenting on something, it's people post something up there, they want you to comment and stuff, but they're not engaging with you. And it's like, okay, well, be social, talk to me. I want to talk, it's a whole thing. So yeah, I think that's fine.
Good. That makes a lot of sense. And I also agree about the birthdays. I know whenever somebody writes happy birthday, whether it's LinkedIn, any of these platforms, I do go and thank them, but I'll do it in blocks of like 10 or 20, and then I'll come back later. It's because I do appreciate that somebody took the time. Red, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I do it all the time. I typically will get every single person, but then again, if there's somebody in there that I really know, let's say it was Amy's birthday, I would probably also send an instant message in addition to just the one that's on Facebook or LinkedIn, because I think it's a little bit more than just saying happy birthday and that's being it. I can go to instant message and say, I hope you're having a really great day today. And that kind of thing, it makes it just a little bit more personal to the person you know. I wouldn't do that to somebody I don't know. I've had a lot of people on mine, they, hope you're having a great day. Well, I come back and say, excellent as always, because that's my standard reply, because I am excellent as always every day. And some days I'm better. And so those are the things that I think separate just the casual, like when you actually go in there and do a little bit more, especially if
but
people
how do you feel when someone sends you those things, whether you know them or not? How does that make you feel when you get those?
For the number of people who don't do it, it separates them. There's something that they took an extra little bit of time to say something, as opposed to thanks or a like or whatever may happen to be the emoji of that particular one. So those are things that are in there.
You feel valued, right? You feel like they value the relationship and the connection that you have, whether they've ever talked to you or not. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, I feel the same way, right? I'm just like, oh, these people are so nice. I've never met them. But in reality, you sit here and you kind of think and you're like, wow, they took that extra 30 seconds to a minute to write that. They must really value this. And you kind of value them a little bit more, And so it's something that is old school. I mean, it really is old school, and people don't do that anymore. And I miss that, because it really is just what social media was about, which was just communication and getting with people and building relationships, right? And engaging that way. I mean, it's become a whole like business empire now, right? But that's how it started, and that's how it should be. And those should be the foundations of any marketing that you go into.
Another moniker that you use is the Hot Mess Express.
Yes, I am a hot mess. This is true. If you haven't already experienced this, I am. Yes.
So how did that get started, and where's it going?
Oh, okay. So my hot mess got started because I am a mom with children that are 13 months apart, 2 and 1. Like I mentioned, I have 2 girls. And, like I've kind of casually said throughout this whole, conversation, is some days I'm doing good to know what month it is. Like on my Monday night on January 30th, 31st, one of those days, I was like, hey, it's July. Okay. Like, it's just sleep deprived. And like my kids, I told you, sometimes they'll come on my show and they're not on my show, but they're kicking at my door. And so it just kind of is like the struggle of owning a business and working at home. And I have 2 kids at home, and I'm trying to balance this whole thing. And so, I don't know who has seen the graphic that goes around, with the mom that has her hair just thrown up on top of her head, and she's got baggy clothes on, kids hanging on her, and she's got a phone in her ear, and she's just trying to get through the day. And that is just how my day is most days. And so it's a hot mess, and I love it. I wouldn't trade it. Some days, I want to just hide in my closet, but other days, I survive. So the hot mess just kind of came about, and I just kind of owned it. And it's not something I shy away from. It's my reality, and it's the reality of, most moms, even if they're, even if you do just stay at home, right? It's a struggle, and it's just, it's just relatable. And I feel, for me, it's like a stress reliever to kind of just be like, well, here's what happened today. Okay. My kids have done this. I'm doing good to know what day of the week it is. And, you're lucky I'm here and my hair looks decent. Right. So it's just, That's just a stress reliever, honestly, for me to process how my days go, honestly.
I love the authenticity. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I told you I'm an open book,
Yes.
open book. So
I have another social media question, which
yeah.
is with so many platforms, right? So many. TikTok, I haven't even I'm on there, but I don't even do anything with it. But how do we know which platform we should spend our time on, or should we be on all of them?
So that's the question I get asked a lot. And a lot of it depends on what your business is, what genre you write in, right? I mean, TikTok is big massively, but if you're not open to doing videos or getting creative in that sense, then that's not a market for you, right? I mean, there's always the basics, which is like Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm not a huge advocate for Twitter because if you understand how it works, the life of a tweet is like 6 seconds. So unless you want to be tweeting like, I don't know, 10 to 15 times a day, it's really hard to gain traction on there. So I'm always just kind of a huge advocate for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And if you're not wanting to be on either one of those, at least be on 2 of those, and be open to it. But it really just depends on, like I said, the audience members and consumers for your business and what genre you write in. Like, young adult, fantasy, and children's would be really great on Instagram or TikTok. And if you have more of a nonfiction book, those are perfect for LinkedIn and Facebook. And so you just have to know where your market is primarily and what platform that is. But I always recommend being on at least 3 and just maintaining them. Like, don't do anything special to make it where it's like, oh, well, if you only want to see this, it's only on Instagram. And it's like, no, you can post more on Instagram, but you also need to hit your other, demographics and markets on the other 2 platforms because it may be more successful over there. So it's definitely at least be on 3, but you don't have to be on all of them. That would be so overwhelming. No, that would be overwhelming. So.
And by the way, I didn't know that about Twitter, that the life expectancy of a tweet is 6 seconds. So it just disappears.
It doesn't disappear, but it gets pushed so far down in the newsfeed that it just becomes irrelevant. So unless you're constantly tweeting and doing all of these things and you have a ton of, some followers, it's just really hard to kind of get it where it's going to get that much traction, or unless it's being retweeted, hundreds of times. And so it's just kind of one of those. I mean, that one would be the one where you're just on your phone or on your computer all day posting, so third-party schedulers like Hootsuite, Buffer, CoScheduler, Sprout Social, all of those would be perfect for that platform. So you don't have to do it all the time.
Yeah, I use Hootsuite. Thank you for that tip. I'm not going to waste my time on Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
You mentioned having a couple 3. So LinkedIn, Facebook, primarily for authors.
Yeah.
Possibly Instagram. A YouTube channel.
Oh, now I love YouTube, but you could also lump in like Medium, right? And having a blog on Medium. That can be one of your social platforms. It really just is where your target market and where your readers are. And sometimes that can be really hard to find. Like, me being a mom, I'm going to go to Instagram to see all the things, but I want to see the family side of the children's author. Like, that's what I'm looking for, but if I'm looking for fantasy and stuff, then I'm going to go to either Instagram or Facebook. I'm probably going to go to Facebook to see like fantasy, sci-fi, them going to Comic Cons, dressing up. Right. So you just have to understand where your readership is going to be. And that's where you want to focus really hard and then maintain your other ones. But I'm old school. I just don't believe in being on all of them and breaking your back and trying to stay up to date with all of them and everything. Because, if you throw TikTok in the loop and you're trying to create videos for TikTok, if you're not posting on there like 3 times a day because you're trying to build up like your following and you're not on there, commenting and engaging, it's going to take you forever to build up on that platform unless a celebrity, shares it. So it's kind of one of those where pick where you want to spend your time, where your readers are, and invest your time into that. Don't try to be everywhere and spread yourself really thin. because then you're going to get burnout. You're not going to like it. You're going to just pull everything off because you're going to have a bad experience, and it's, becomes a whole hot mess of a thing. Okay. So it's just pick where you want to be, make sure your readers are there, invest your time there.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have that many dance moves to be on TikTok. So
Oh yeah, you won't see me doing the trendy dances. Like, no one wants to see that, and I know that, and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay. Like, it's okay. Doesn't hurt my.
But be consistent.
Yes, that is the biggest thing. That's the biggest hurdle for everyone, is just being consistent and posting. And it's something that, you can capitalize on hashtags, which people get confused with hashtags. Hashtags are, they're keywords that you want to use, that you want to pop up on your search engine if you're looking on Facebook or whatever, and always relate them back. But there's certain ones you can capitalize on every day. I mean, you got Motivation Monday, Tip Tuesday, you got Wednesday Wisdom, you got Thursday, Thoughtful Thursday is one of them. You got Flashback Friday, Friday Feels, Friday Vibes. I mean, Friday has a lot. Everyone loves Fridays. But I mean, you can capitalize on those hashtags because they are so widely used and they are used a lot. And so if I go and I search for that, your post will show up, and that's what you want. And so capitalize on that. Don't overdo it. Okay. So on Instagram, you have to have between 15 and 30 hashtags to really get traction. Okay. It's very hashtag driven. On Facebook and LinkedIn, you want to keep it classy and professional. Only use, 3 to 4, no more than 5. Okay. If you're feeling wild, but it's not hashtag driven as much as Instagram. So just, keep that in mind. A cleaner look on Facebook and Instagram, or Facebook and LinkedIn, is much better than having the 15 to 30 hashtags in your post. It looks better.
I'm speechless at all the things I'm learning today.
No, is your head hurting? I'm so sorry. I don't mean to.
No, it's good information. So a question I have, because of the fact that we're on StreamYard, because you know the platform,
Right.
and we have 22 shows, all the shows get sent out on the platforms. So if I go to post anything about myself personally, or about my business as a coach, or the listening courses, everything gets lost. And there's so many things on there that I don't know how anybody would find any of it.
Yeah, I would pin it to the top. So whenever I do like interviews like this one, I'll pin it to the top of my page or my business page. So it's the first thing that people see. I mean, if I'm doing, like, say that I'm going to run a promotion on my book and I have stacked it, it's launching on Friday, I'm going to pin that post to the top. So when they go to my page, my author page, my business page, that's the first post that they're going to see, is the one I want people to see. And so that's the loophole I do, instead of like constantly posting it, 500 times a day, because you do have so many shows. Post the one and pin it to the top that is the most relevant or important, that you really want people to see. And then, when that event or whatever's over, take it down and do your next one, is my recommendation.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Well, we've actually come to the end of our show. It goes by so quickly. So, AIMEE, you have taught so much here. People have to reach out to you. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be working with you for my new book coming out. So I know that you like a little more lead time than what Red and I are giving you.
Okay.
But if you could share with our audience, who should reach out to you? When should they reach out to you if they've got a book coming out? And for people who are entrepreneurs, the services that you can offer them as well.
Yeah. So if you are launching a book, or you're in the process of launching your book and you're kind of wondering about the bestseller status, how you can do that, what all is involved, reach out to me. Any genre is welcome. I've done all genres, so you can't shock me, I promise. And I'll give you information or anything. The best advice I can give you is, when you start creating your marketing plan, which should be about 6 months before your book comes out, give me a call so we can kind of talk it through. Or, I can work miracles if you let me know last minute, but it's only so much of a miracle I can work. So you got to give me some leeway. A month would be nice, at least. But You can reach out for that. If you want to join the membership that Red's also a part of through the Eyes of Authors, all of that is on my website, abundantlysocial.com. If you're a small business and you're wanting to kind of branch out in social media, or you're an entrepreneur and you want to know how to do it, or you want to learn it, more than welcome to reach out to me on my website, abundantlysocial.com. You can also email me, which my email is right there, but it's AIMEE@abundantlysocial.com. And if I cannot help you, I'm sure that I have people that I know that would be more than happy to help you out and get you answers. I'm all about getting you answers and getting things done, as best as I can. So I'm always an open book. So you're more than welcome to reach out to me at any time.
And for those people who do not have access to the video portion, AIMEE is spelled AIMEE.
Yes, sorry. Yes, it's one of those. I forget sometimes how to spell my own name. I'm doing good to remember. But yes, it's AIMEE for those of you that may. Yes, it's not AMY. It's special, like my personality, I would say, Red. Yes.
Absolutely. AIMEE, thank you again for being here. You are really, truly so knowledgeable and so sweet.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me on. It was so much fun. So thank you guys.
Thank you. We'll be in touch about the book too.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Red, she is just so down to earth, so easy to like, and so experienced, and just shared so many tips so graciously.
I think she fit into the wise ones very nicely because she is really wise in the areas that you and I need some help that we don't have that wisdom in. And that worked out very, very nicely today.
It sure did. And she saved me a lot of time. Things I'm not going to be doing. Red, how can people reach you? And while I spotlight you, please do tell people about your work as a talking head.
I talk on health and wellness primarily in the area of longevity. I research what goes on in the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat a symptom, you'll always be treating symptoms. So you want to fix something, you got to know the cause. And that's what I research. That's what I write about. That's what I speak about. And on the talking heads, I'm into the area of longevity, particularly into age-related diseases. What can we do in our lives now that's going to make us healthier later, to let us really enjoy those years down the road? And so in the talking heads, I go into, what causes disease? What can you do about it? And there's a lot of things out there. So from a talking head perspective, that's what I do on that one. Otherwise, I write about this all the time. On LinkedIn, my website, redolaughlin.com. That's RED, like the color, O'Laughlin, OLAUGHLIN, O'Laughlin. Redolaughlin.com is my website. I have 1,500 blogs on there. My best way to reach me is either red@redolaughlin.com or red.olaughlin@gmail.com. I also help new authors get their books written. I'm a publisher. I've published over 20 authors' books. And so if you're interested in talking about finding out what is the publishing process, what can you do to make it fit your needs, more than happy to discuss those things too. But red@redolaughlin.com is a good way to reach me. red.olaughlin@gmail.com is also a good way to reach me.
Thank you very much, Red. Look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Absolutely. As always. As always.
Thank you, Red. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Well, everyone, I just want to share with you, I know that you don't have the opportunity to just sit in front of your computer or your television all day long, but I am just so thankful for having this platform, because the knowledge that is shared here and the entertainment that we see as well, to me, it's just priceless. So please do go over to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything to go there. Just click subscribe and you can see all kinds of amazing shows. This show we just had today, right before this, we had an incredible music show with a young woman from Malta who has a song that's on the top of the radio charts there. And earlier we had a gentleman from Africa talking about education, bringing education to teachers there, and also a scientist who helps people make decisions. He's got a process that is available through an app that he offers. It's just amazing. People from all over the world and sharing what it is they're doing to help make the world better. So would appreciate it if you also go to our website, which is usaglobaltv.com. You can watch our shows there, and you can also book your session to be a guest on our show. You can also see, as Red was talking about, Talking Heads. The Talking Heads shows are available to watch there. And I'm announcing to everyone that I am also going to be joining the Talking Heads starting in March. And you can watch me present my lessons on listening skills. That will be my first 6 in the series. So thank you again to everyone. Red, it was a pleasure. AIMEE, so nice to see you again. And we look forward to having you back tomorrow. We have a full day of shows. Until then, take care of yourselves. Be nice, live in grace and gratitude. And I am thankful to each and every one of you. Bye for now.